1,440. Does that number mean anything to you? That's the number of minutes that there are in a day. 15 minutes is 1% of your day. I've been using 1% of my day, every day, for 2 years to create more time in my life. And I'm going to share how I did it, why I think it works, and how it can work for you. You and I have goals, things we want to change in our lives. But our days are filled with errands and the busy work of life. We have projects we want to complete, changes we want to make in our lives, and we never get around to starting any of them. Why? Because these changes require time we don't believe we have. The Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Spending 15 minutes every day on the change I want to make in my life has been that single step. I'm a normal guy. I have a family. I have a job. I also have ideas about businesses I want to create, about how to change the world, about how to live the best life I can possibly live. My problem, I have more ideas than time. I was looking for a way to create more time. And in my search, I came up with a hypothesis. If I spend 15 minutes a day, every day, working on my ideas, I can finally make progress on them. It was really a simple hypothesis to test. One Monday morning, I set a timer for 15 minutes and started working on my first idea, which was a website devoted to my 15-minute idea. Very meta. I did the same thing on Tuesday, and again on Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday. At the end of the week, I had a functioning website with my own domain and a nice layout and some posts about my 15-minute idea. It was all done in 5 days, 15 minutes at a time. Over the next few months, I continued to update my website. I also created my first digital product, which was a guide about my 15-minute idea. In addition, I created a catering brochure for a food truck that my family owns. I developed a system of outreach to get in touch with catering companies that our food truck could work with. I also built customer surveys for our food truck customers, and I did all this 15 minutes at a time without taking away any time from my family or my job. I found that the 15 minutes was effective for me, but why was it more effective than just sitting down and doing a week's worth of work in 75 minutes? I looked around for research and I came across a site called The Sparring Mind, written by Gregory Ciotti. He had an article called The Science of Productivity. It had a lot of research that helped me understand why the 15 minutes was working. Our brains have a hard time with big projects and fear long-term commitments because we abandon ship at the first sign of distress. In response, our brains avoid those big projects and fill our days with the small, mindless tasks. 15 minutes breaks that big project down into a small enough task that our brain can handle. It gets us over the main obstacle, which is getting started. Once we get started, we keep going. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. According to this theory, our brains have a bias to complete tasks that we start. So if the first 15 minutes gets you going, gives you momentum into the next 15 minutes, and your brain wants to complete the task. But why 15 minutes? It turns out it's just long enough to get something done before you get distracted. One of the main barriers to our productivity is distraction. Working for 15 minutes gives you enough time to do something before your brain wanders off. By now you've realized this is a pretty simple idea, but I challenge you to try it. The first question you're going to ask yourself is, where am I going to find 15 minutes? Go to bed and wake up 15 minutes earlier. Stop reading the newspaper. Stop watching TV. Stop checking your Facebook account. I find my time in the morning between 5:45 and 6 a.m. My house is quiet, there's no distractions yet. So walk out of the Innovation Pavilion today. Think about that project you've always wanted to start. Figure out what the first step is. And sit down with a timer. I'm not kidding, use an actual timer. And set it for 15 minutes. Work on the first step today. Tomorrow, work on the next step. Do that every day for the rest of this week. And at the end of the week, see how much progress you've made on that project. My journey started 2 years ago. I still have several hundred miles to go, but I know I'll make it 15 minutes at a time. Your journey of 1,000 miles lies before you. You know where you want to go. Spend 15 minutes taking that single step. Thank you.